Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Breathe Break. I'm Leah Lund, and I'm the creator of One Whole Health. And at One Whole Health, we provide coaching and retreats that helps you stop the 5 big pain points, especially for women, 5 big pain points of overwhelm, fear, anxiety, self-doubt, and self-sabotage. And we help you engage the power of your brain to put a stop to those so you can live your most fulfilling and joy-filled life. And our breathe breaks are designed to help you calm down your central nervous system. So this is a practice that I encourage every 90 minutes during your day, doing something where you take a pause and you shift your brain away from focusing on whatever you've been knee deep in so far today. And you take a moment to do something that calms you down, whether that be a meditation or a visualization or deep breathing exercises, or listen to something inspiring. And so today I want to tell you that nothing is wrong, period. Nothing is wrong. What I mean by that is that your brain will react and start making the chemistry that something is wrong if you tell it it's wrong, because your brain believes what your mind tells it. And you have the power to start seeing things in a way that isn't catastrophizing things. It's not making things wrong. So I'm talking about no longer looking at things as, well, if things were okay, this wouldn't be happening. Or if I were good enough, I wouldn't have this problem. Or somebody else shouldn't be doing what they're doing. Or this shouldn't have happened. Are any of those thoughts sounding a little bit familiar? Every time you do that, you're causing a stress for your brain. So what it means at the root of it, these kinds of thoughts are telling you that something is wrong about the way you're living life compared to how you're supposed to be or should be living life, or that something is turning out in a way that isn't okay. And there's lots of different ways that the mind is, and this is the ego mind, really, this is the ego mind speaking when you're thinking this way. And there's lots of different ways that the ego mind twists what's happening, neutral events, to mean something in a negative way. So it might be that you're thinking something's wrong with where you are in life. You should be further along by now. Or it might be that you're thinking that something shouldn't have happened, or that you've missed, like you missed a piece and now something's wrong and you have to figure out how to fix it and it's not okay. Sometimes it could be really clear to you, like I made this mistake and now that's why all of these things are occurring. And it feels like something is broken and you're projecting to the outcome that because XYZ is happening, then it means that you'll never be happy, or you'll never have peace, or things will never turn out the way you want them to turn out. All of these are different versions, different thought versions of thinking that something's wrong when it's actually not. And so here's the message for your breathe break today. Nothing is wrong unless you think it is. And something is only wrong when you decide to think that it's wrong. So I'm going to give you a few exercises and I'll walk through them. We keep these breathe breaks relatively short, so I will walk through them so that you can practice, but I really encourage you to take some notes too and use these exercises over and over again to help peel back the layers of how often, literally in a day, do you think in a way that's implying to your brain something's not right with what's happening. Something's wrong, needs to be fixed. I'm off track and I'm not going to have what I want for my life as a result. So the first exercise, and by the way, I want to say that what exaggerates this thinking that something is wrong is when you keep it in isolation. And this came up recently in our women's coaching group in our Whole Health Mastery program. in which we use the brain makeover method for achieving optimal health and happiness. And it came up that the women in this group, several of them were having struggles with parenting and struggles in their relationships. And what tends to happen when you're thinking that, oh, none of that should happen, if I was okay, if I was doing things right, if I was doing life right, then this wouldn't be happening. When you have that mentality and that perspective, then you tend to isolate. And that's what had been happening with these women. But now that they're in our tribe and in our community and in this program together, one by one, they've started to take that brave step of sharing, well, here's what is going on in my family, and here's what happened here. And they were relieved to find out that it's not just them. So isolation makes this worse, and that causes greater stress to your brain and your body because you think you're the only one that these things are happening to. So not only is it wrong, but it's not happening to most other people. It's happening to me because that's how bad I am, how far off track I am. And everybody in the group was just really relieved to find out, wow, this stuff happens for everyone. And it was a bit of a breakthrough for several women to start to see that these events of life don't have to mean that anything is wrong with your life or where you are in life, or certainly not, it doesn't mean anything is wrong with you. I see the hearts flying. Thank you. So here's some exercises that can help break you of this thought habit that's creating stress for yourself. So, and I want to say also, research is showing that 95% of all illness is either caused by or worsened by stress. And stress is a perception. There are some physical stresses, but vast majority of stress is a perception. So 95% of all illnesses are caused by or worsened by our perceived stress, our habit of thinking that things are wrong just because life is happening, as life always will and always does. We're moving, changing human beings. So here's a couple of different exercises. The first one I want to have you do, and again, take some notes because hopefully you can practice this right now, but if you can't, you can take notes and you can do it later. But the intent of this breathe break is that you are not multitasking, that you are focused on this to clear your mind for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then you can go back and take care of whatever you need to take care of. So the first exercise is this. Ask yourself right now, and you can close your eyes if you want, if that's helpful to just reflect on your day. It's morning for the most part. It's midway through the day, depending where you live. If you're out of the country, it may not be. But for those in the US, it's still only halfway through the day. So ask yourself, what has happened today that you've already thought that wasn't supposed to happen? And I'd love if you'd share, but what's happened so far already today that your mind went to, that shouldn't have happened? And who in your life has done something today that you thought they shouldn't have done that? And thirdly, what have you done or maybe not done and you thought, well, I should have. I shouldn't have, or I should have. So what's something that's happened already today that you thought, no, that's not supposed to be, no, it's not supposed to go that way. It's not supposed to be that way. What has somebody else said or done that you thought they shouldn't think that way or say that or do that? And what have you done or not done and you're having that same should response? So I'm seeing Clarissa, I was frustrated with my kids. And so, Clarissa, are you thinking about that and thinking, I shouldn't get frustrated with my kids? That actual stress of thinking you shouldn't get frustrated with your kids is actually as harmful, if not more, to your brain than being frustrated in the first place. Do you get that? It compounds the problem. Feeling frustrated is a source of stress, but then when you feel wrong, bad, guilty, and layer on another negative emotion about the frustration, it's compounding the amount of stress that you're operating from. So that's a great example, Clarissa. And don't isolate. I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad you shared that because you're not alone. I bet there's not a parent on this live that hasn't been frustrated with their kids at some point, right? And anybody else can give Clarissa some love for that. But I'm positive that there's not a parent that hasn't been frustrated with their kids sometime. So the point is, this is a great illustration. Getting frustrated with your kids, that's not going to likely to go away. It's just the nature of parenting. What can free you and relieve stress for your brain is to stop judging that as wrong. To accept it that A, your kids are going to do things you wish they wouldn't, and B, you're probably going to get frustrated with it, and it is okay. So that's one exercise you can use, those 3 questions. A second one is what I just said. When you find yourself having those thoughts, I shouldn't be frustrated with my kids, or I am frustrated with my kids, just tag a couple little words on the end of that sentence, and it's okay. And it's okay. I got frustrated with my kids this morning, and it's okay. Angie, good job. She said, I'm not shitting on myself today. I did everything I'd intended to do so far. Beautiful. And when you miss something, it's okay. That simple practice of adding to your thinking, creating a habit where you think, and it's okay. And that's very different from condoning or settling or saying, oh, you know, I got to work late today, and it's okay. That doesn't mean you're not going to try to get to work on time tomorrow, but it means that there is nothing wrong with human life happening as it does, because it does, and it's okay. So practice throughout the day, and it's okay. And if there's something in your mind right now that's been eating away at you, and it can be also about other people. You know, my partner left this morning without saying good morning or kissing me, and it's okay. Stop making it wrong or bad. At the same time, it's not condoning, so it doesn't mean you couldn't have a conversation and say, hey, I'd really appreciate if we make time every morning to just connect, and we're both busy, but let's plan on this. So it's not about it has to be that way forever and ever. It's about not judging the events that are happening in your life as they're happening. The third exercise is ask yourself, do you put attention on something being wrong, or do you actively look at what's right about it and find what's right about it? And I'm going to use a simple example here that just came up with a new client doing our Neuronutrition Quick Start program. And our forum gives lots of email reminders or notifications rather when other members have posted and when there's something new going on in the forum. So it's just like your Facebook notifications, right? We get a million of them at this point. And I've seen this before, so it's not just this one person. Again, no isolating if it's you and you're listening. It happens all the time where new members will have a bit of a panic, like, oh, this shouldn't have happened. I shouldn't get all these notifications. Why am I getting all these notifications? It's overwhelming me, and I'm here to try to break free of my overwhelm, and I don't want this. That's an example of perceiving all of these notifications as something wrong. It's too much. I can't read all that. You're going to expect too much of me if I'm supposed to respond to all those things. Making it all wrong in your mind versus saying, wow, there were a dozen people trying to connect with me, or a dozen opportunities to connect with everyone else. Do you see how that completely shifts the response in your mind, which therefore shifts it in your body and your brain, that a notification isn't a bad thing. Somebody's connecting with you. And you have the power to read the ones you have time to read and delete the ones you don't want to delete or you want to delete, and handle it however you want. In the case of our forum, you can actually even go in and change your settings so you don't get them anymore. But what was the meaning that was attached to receiving all those notifications? Was it overwhelming? Why am I getting all of this? Oh my gosh, now it's something I'm going to do and I'm not going to be able to keep up, and it's wrong, I'm wrong, everything's wrong? Or was it, wow, there's a dozen people connecting with me and in communion with me and working on their overwhelm together. Isn't this great? I can't handle that many notifications right now, or I don't want to, so I'm going to go in and change my setting. So look for collecting ways and things that are right, and definitely detox the need to make things wrong. So I see we're at the 15-minute mark. So I'm going to just close with one last thing. And that is that sometimes the negativity and the seeing something wrong is actually biochemical, largely. Now, our thoughts will always dictate our brain. But when the brain is not making certain biochemicals, certain neurotransmitters, then it also will see things as wrong and in a negative light, as an exaggeration. And so if you think that might be going on for you, I highly encourage, we have a self-scoring brain chemistry assessment. And if you go through it and you score 5 or higher on any of the symptoms there, you'll know that how you are feeling and reacting to things and thinking that they're wrong is partially biochemical. So I urge you to check that out as well. And I would love to hear how you do applying these 3 exercises, and knowing, and how you little by little modify that. Just because something happened, anything happened, it's not wrong. And in fact, I was going to share something quick if I can find it. Bear with me. I had it pulled up and my phone timed out, but I want to close with the notion that everything is actually working out for you. So not only is everything not wrong, just because something happened in the world, it doesn't mean it's wrong. It's literally working out for you. It's the opportunity for you to grow and to stretch yourself. And if you keep just doing your part and seeing the good in it and doing what you know is right and sharing your gifts and spreading your love, then you've expanded, and that's your purpose here. So that's been our Breathe Break for this Monday. I want to let you know also that in 2 weeks, we'll be starting a Feel Good Friday Facebook Live. That's going to be on the Brain Coach page. It won't be here in this group. We'll continue our Mondays and have our Breathe Break here, and then we'll have on Leah Lund, the Brain Coach, we'll have a Feel Good Friday. So you'll have 2 opportunities to take breathe breaks in communion. And also, we are now have our doors open on our free online show called Reboot Your Brain. This is an annual event, and I'll put the link to that in the comments here on this group. And please share that. Invite your friends, anybody who can benefit from a reboot for their brain. The doors are open on that, and we're getting started with that soon. So have a beautiful day and enjoy all that is right with you and in the world. Thanks, everybody.